Hi, Brian Cheney here. Got a new kind of a hack project that I'm doing here to my fireplace, and I just want to show you what's going on. This is my dog, and she's a big help, as you can tell, but you're stealing my thunder, so let's move you out of the way. So the issue is that with a fireplace like this, it has a Heatilator, which is really, really great. You have a nice hot fire going on, you turn the Heatilator on, and it blows air from the bottom up through over the plenum of the fireplace, and that out these vents here on the side. A lot of fireplaces have this. Works really great. You get a lot of extra heat out of the fireplace. The problem is that these fans that they put on the Heatilator are really, really noisy. They're these old school fans. This was put in like 1999. Here's the old fan that I've taken out, and you can see it's got this old AC synchronous motor on it, kind of like you'd have in your in the exhaust fan of your bathroom, with this fan right here, and it just I won't turn it on right now, but it makes this really loud noise. I actually checked it with the dB meter, and it was about 65 dB, about a foot or two off of the opening right here. And it was so loud that, and there's one on this side, one on that side, so loud that my wife, who's shooting this video, wouldn't let me use the Heatilator because it was too noisy, and it was obnoxious. So anyway, I thought there's got to be a better way to do this. What kind of fan could I find that would be very quiet, that would deliver the CFM needed to make it work right? So what I did was looked online on Amazon. There's a million of these out here. I found this 120 millimeter computer fan. This would be used on like a really high-end computer gaming computer. And this particular one turns at 1200 RPM at about 65 CFM. So between the two, it'd be 120, 130 CFM. It should be enough. I don't know for sure, but I turned it on. It feels like there's plenty of air coming out of it. And they're extremely quiet. The dB level is like 23 dB. You turn it on, you can't even hear it. So I think this is going to work out real well. So let me show you how I went about doing this. So this is a regular old 12 volt computer fan that you would use on a computer. If you can come down here, let me show you the hole that we're putting this thing in. And I'll turn the light on here. So this was 120 volts to begin with. So I had to convert the 120 volts to 12 volts. So what I did basically was just got a regular old power supply that Amazon sells right along with the fan, and I just spliced it onto the 120 volt Romex line that's coming out of the switch up above to an old extension cord, and I plugged it in, and there we go. You can see the lights on. It's got 12 volts ready to go. Then I spliced I think I just put this thing together. Okay, there's a little wiring kit that comes with the power supply, and it's right here. And so I just spliced the power supply wire, and you see there's two power supply wire onto the other Romex wire. This Romex wire right here is running to the other side that powered the old 120 volt fan on that side. So the Romex normally carries 120 volts, but now it's only carrying 12 volts at like, half an amp, really low amperage. So I spliced that onto there. I used a little wire in between the Romex and this wire, because this wire is really, really thin. So you're going to want to use butt connectors on there to connect to some wire, and then wire nut it onto the Romex. It worked fine. And of course that just plugs into the power supply right here. And then this one's going to plug right into the fan once I mount it here. So it looks like it's all going to fit really well. I got the biggest fan that I could for the opening, and I'm not going to use the baffle or the metal plate here because I'd have to cut it and go through all that stuff, and I don't want to do that. So I found this fan that it fits perfectly in here. You're going to want to measure your opening to make sure that's going to fit, but and also you want to turn the fan on first to make sure it's blowing the right way. So the air blows towards the label. So I'm going to mount it this way in here. It's going to fit really nicely right into that hole. You get a shot of that hole. And then I'm going to twist it a little bit and then drill holes into the metal bracket there. And I'm just going to use regular drywall screws to go right into the metal. It's going to hold it just fine. It's going to work great. It spins fine. It's not rubbing on anything. So it's just going to mount right in there just like that. You can see how it's going to work. Let's go over to the other side, and I'll show you how I'm getting ready to do that one. Get a vacuum and vacuum out all the cobwebs. There's a lot of dirt in there that you'll find. And on this side here, see, I've already moved it. Here's the other fan right there. Took it out. Here's the Romex, which is going to carry 12 volts. I made my little connector wire here. So there's the connector that's going to go into the fan. This all wire right onto the Romex. I'm not going to use the ground, of course. And I'll do the same thing here. I'm going to take the fan and find out where the holes need to be, drill them, put drywall screws in there, and it's going to hold it right on there, and it should work just fine. Be careful when you drill the holes because there's concrete behind. I already broke one bit. I went in too far, hit the concrete, broke the bit. So just make a small and shallow hole as you can when you drill into this metal shroud right there for the fan. So that's the hack. I mean, the fans cost $10 a piece. I think the power supply was, you know, $6 or something like that. And then, you know, it takes, you know, a couple hours to hook it all up and put it in. Probably your Fireplace guy could do it. You know, he'll charge you $100 labor or whatever. But we'll see how well it works. I know it's going to be quiet. The key is going to be, does it give us enough air coming out of the Heatilator up here? And that's why I'm keeping the fire going this morning, because I want to make sure that I get a good result. So we'll shoot another part of the video here in a minute once we have it all working. So, okay, Brian Cheney here, showing you how the job finished up. So we have both fans installed, and here is the fan. You can see it's running very nicely here. Now in the corners, since I didn't use the shroud from the other fan, just took some insulation and put in the corners to kind of seal it off so that all the air goes right up into the plenum and out the Heatilator. How's it working? Well, let's see. Definitely feel some heat out here. I'd say probably the CFM is about the same as the last fans that were in there. Feeling about the same amount of air coming out. It's extremely quiet. I mean, just listen. If you hear anything, you're hearing the air coming out of the air conditioning vent or the fan vent right there. But there's really no sound at all. And I already put the cover on this one over here. And definitely some heat coming out of there. I would say probably if you did this yourself, I would probably get fans that have a little more CFM than this one. These are about 65 each. I'd probably try to find something that has something close to 100 each, if you can. And you could easily go up to 50, or probably not 50, but maybe 30, 40 dB, and you wouldn't hear anything. I think it would work real well. So there's my hack. Total cost of materials, not even $50. Took a couple hours to put in, drilled a few holes, and the wife will be happy because it's quiet. You can't hear a thing. Have a great day.